Hey guys, it's Zach Jack Dan coming back to you with part 2 of my video series called Progression of an Action Figure Collection. So as you see, we went from a nursery pattern of our kids' room into starting small with just a few posters that my buddy got me from Blockbuster Video that were on the side aisles, that Spider-Man and that Shrek poster. Of course, Shrek's not comic book, but it was still getting us on the basis of enjoying movies and things. But as you see there, you got King Kong, and then you look down below, you got the Terrordrome. That Terrordrome I added to my collection as an adult. That was not one I had as a kid, but that was one that I went out and found on eBay and purchased. Of course, you see that it's got some missing pieces to it, so I pretty much gave it to my kid as a toy, and he did use it for a little bit there whenever he was younger, before we got into Marvel. But here, I want to show you a few pictures of some of the G.I. Joe vehicles. Very dusty, you see there, but that I had or picked up. This is one that I picked up as an adult. It's another one, Bridge Layer, that I picked up as an adult. And hovercraft, can't remember the name of it. I think it was the Whale. All that I picked up as an adult, thinking that I was going to get into collecting all of these different series like G.I. Joe, Transformers, Thundercats, He-Man. But the Terrordrome was very cool. Definitely one that one of my friends had when I was growing up. He would destroy that thing. It would sit out in the garage, and every time we played ball, he'd get mad and he'd come out and kick all his toys. And this was one of them that was sit out there. But I would get upset with him, and because it was not something that my parents purchased for me. It wasn't one of the expensive ones that I could get. As you'll see, I do hide my son's face in these pictures, so forgive me, but I don't want to really share that. And you'll probably see that some of the pictures that I use aren't the greatest quality, because it was back whenever the cameras weren't as good. But you'll see he did play with the G.I. Joes here on the floor. And he had things everywhere. Had the Hiss tank there, you see that, and the Rolling Thunder back in the background right there. So I'm my dad. That's me. I was making this video for my son to do, but he decided he didn't want to do it. So that's me right there. He-Man Collection Part 1 for my dad. That's me. So you see this display back there. My neighbor was moving, and this was his TV stand. So I bought that TV stand, and it was perfect to display my He-Man that had been sitting in the closet. And in 2000 whatever, to be able to take that He-Man collection for the 2000X and the Stactions and display them all. I loved this collection, and this was a great joy for me as a collector and as a kid at heart to be able to build this collection. These Stactions were amazing. I did not have them out of package at this time. Everything for my 2000X stuff was kept in package. That Lasher, he was such a cool figure. And I did end up having that Stinkor because the version I got was broken, so I got another version, and I opened the second one, so I did have two of that one. The Clawful too, I had two of that figure, so I had an extra figure with that one. That was another. Every one of the Stactions were great. Hordak, Montana. I bought another Snout Spout for my son. He wanted one for Christmas one year. That was the only He-Man that he cared anything about. And I'm just going to kind of go through some slides of each shelf. Bought that Roton. I think that was his name. I'm not really 100% sure from the Horde. Bought that as an adult later. Everything else was stuff I had as a kid from the 80s, not the 2000X stuff you see in the background. About 3 out of 4 of those vehicles. The only one I had was the green one on the bottom right as a kid. Everything else I purchased as an adult. I had to purchase that bug insect thing right there, that Hordak song, as an adult. Everything else I had. I know that Bashing Dinosaur thing I had to buy as an adult. Pretty much had all the figures. I think I had to buy that Clawful as an adult. I definitely had the Fright Zone as an adult. It was in really good shape. I did not have Snake Mountain. That was something I had to purchase. I did not have the Green Flying Machine. I did not have Ninjor, Snout Spout, Rattler. All those were adult purchases. I don't think I had Panther. That was definitely an adult purchase. The Shark, Land Shark, I did not have. I did not have Squeeze. Um, whatever the Snake Face, yeah, I did not have him. Roboto, I did not have. I had to buy him. Some of these 2000X figures seen in the background, like the Whiplash, that was one of the purchases I did in store versus the other ones that were part of the big auction that I had bought on eBay. So there was lots of fun through the 2000X series, being able to store buying the figures too, just the hunt, instead of just buying it all in bulk. Let me know what you think about my shelves here. I know that I don't own it anymore, but this was a fun collection to get. And if you have He-Man, and if you have MOTU, I know a lot of you went to the MOTU Classics from Matty Collector, and now Super 7. So let me see. If you have any links to any of your pictures, put them in the comments here and talk about your collecting, because that's one I did not get into because of the expense of it. I had to buy that Extendor as an adult. I hate that the Snake Man series in the background, the green packages, that was the end of the 2000X stuff. It was, um, I don't know why that screwed up everything, but it did. It was the beginning of the end of the 2000X series and went into the Stactions because the NECA Four Horsemen just loved to mold these figures. I had to buy that. That's the Roton. That's the little Roton thing. I had to buy him as an adult. Again, forgive me for some of the quality of the pictures here, but this is what I had back then. And it's hard to take a collection and actually capture it a lot of times, capture what it felt to you, but I did my best with this one. I sold this one on eBay for about 1,200, 1,500. I can't remember right offhand. Had the She-Ra and the Mossman. Those were, I think, the only two at the time of the um, exclusives that I had. Poster I kept from my childhood. Had a few of the variant stuff. I think I had most of the variant stuff. I didn't have a lot of them displayed, but I did like all these Skeletors. Didn't care about any of those, but I had them displayed. I definitely didn't care about any of those. I don't think I had any of these displayed. I think I just had this in a picture for the eBay auction. More variants. Oh, that trap jaw down there was really cool. This is my kid on Christmas morning getting this snout spout. Statues were cool, but they just didn't move. Just statues. That's all they were. And this was him helping me take pictures of the stuff to put on eBay. It worked right here. Just had a bunch of the duplicate stuff that I owned. So here's Zach starting his own collection. We started off small with just playing with toys in the bathtub. Little tiny action figures, 1 inch, maybe 2 inch. I can't remember what they were, but he would sit there and name them and just play with them in the tub. Yeah, as you see, it's not just He-Man, it's not just Marvel, and you just line them up places and just talk to them at the windows. See the cat outside, he'd let the cat talk to it with him. This was his first Christmas getting action figures. I went to that Rebel base and I bought these action figures loose, $4 each. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. You see a DC figure there. This was the big Ghost Rider. This is his first in package. He liked Man-Wolf for some reason. And so I got that one for him in package. It made a sound and everything. Still part of that first Christmas. Maybe the second Christmas, because the figures look different. There's that snap spout again. Love that Juggernaut, that Colossus, that Beast, that Venom, Abomination, Sasquatch. Back then, he actually was playing with the toys. You see that that green and blue and yellow box back there? That's where he would keep his figures back then, in one of the big green boxes. He just carry them around everywhere he went. He's proud of every figure he got. Bishop. Could name them all. This was what he would do. This wasn't Christmas. This was just every action figure he had. He'd display them all on the fireplace just to have fun with them. Playing in the bed, hanging the figures all over the place, making his mom name them with him. So anything that we had played with, majority of them, 99% of them, were sold again. I'd read his little Marvel Adventures comic books with him in bed. Playing little fight scenes. Mr. This was the Blob series, and I didn't want 3 of the figures, so I cut out the Build-A-Figure and gave shelter of some sort. Didn't care nothing about the Gene, Wolverine, or Juggernaut. For watching part 2 of my Progression of an Action Figure collection, and come back for part 3 through 5, and go back and watch part 1 if you missed it. Like this video, comment, and I'll talk to you guys later.